Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We're here to get you ready for a football feast. You'll hear from Eric Schmidt, UND head football coach, Kevin Feeney on the Spud season. We got some NFL picks. Hot Mike starts now.
Hot Mike with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mike.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mike. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Thursday morning and happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, we're working here. This is a great sports day. Why wouldn't we have a show? And we don't even have the Vikings to rip our guts out. We'll save that for Christmas Day. We're going to stuff our guts anyway today. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Hot Mike on a Thanksgiving edition. Great to be with everyone on this 27th of November. We got our snow out of the way, so hopefully it goes away for a little bit and we can get out there and travel safe and get to Grandma and Grandpa's house, Uncle's house, wherever you're heading to enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday. We're in the midst of getting ready for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. That's a big deal at our house. We got NFL games on today. We're going to talk about later in the show. College basketball has decided to they want to get in on Thanksgiving night with some games today after the NFL wraps up its traditional slate. Now, I will give you the back in my day rant here just to start, where we just had the two games. And it was obviously the Lions and the Cowboys like it has been forever. And it's so nice now that Detroit doesn't stink, that we have three games today. Once the NFL decided, hey, we got to get in on primetime on Thanksgiving, and I'll never forget that. That was my first year out here. They had, I want to say it was the Colts and the Falcons, but it was on the NFL Network. And back then, nobody got the NFL Network out here. So you were scouring, like, how are we going to watch this game? And it was for years before they finally went over and NBC got it. And now they have certainly strengthened that, where you've got a division game tonight with Cincinnati facing Baltimore with Joe Burrow coming back. That was not how it used to be. And I'll just go back to the Lions real quick, because first up, at least where I grew up, we never saw the Lions play. You got one Lions game a year. It was Thanksgiving, and they were always bad. Outside of 1991, when they made it to the NFC Championship game and lost to Washington, every other year you got to see Barry Sanders play once, at least for me. You got to see him on Thanksgiving. He would tear up whoever they were playing, and then it was back to obscurity, and the Lions winning 5 games every year outside of that 1 year, and they had a couple of dalliances in the mid-'90s when they were pretty good. Now it's the complete 180, where you get to see them all the time. They're on television scoring points left and right, and now you got a game here later today with the Packers that is a monster game in the NFC North. Knowing full well Chicago plays tomorrow. They play on Black Friday against Philadelphia. That the winner of this very well could be moving to first place in the NFC North, depending how that game goes in Philly tomorrow. So that you've got some added intrigue. So now you've got even more reason to say, to stiff arm, say, you know what? I'd love to chat, but my team's playing right now. Can't do it right now. Now, that being said, when you eat is a big deal. I would say for us growing up, we had the 11:30, because my dad would always go out hunting, and we'll talk about this later on the show. So Dad would get back, I'd say late morning, 11:30, because he'd be out there at 6 o'clock, well before I was going to get up. And we would eat right about that wheelhouse time, right? Because the games would start, at least in Eastern time zone, at 12:30. So we'd eat right around the start of the game. Because now I think I know it varies from house to house on when people eat. I think we've seen more move up the start time of when They have their, and then we would go back and eat again. Like, so by the time the Cowboys game would kick off at 3:30 or 4:30, then you're ready for your next round. And then by halftime of the Dallas game, it was dessert and then dunzo. You're comatose after that. Like, all right, I'm not moving the rest of the day. Now, I'm going to show again the highly controversial Izzo, because anything we do food related on the show blows it up. Benel's goulash chili thing is a nightmare that we talked about last year around Thanksgiving. This is the staples for Thanksgiving, and this has changed actually since I met my now wife and her family about what they do on Thanksgiving, which is because I would tell you this, the food palette was pretty darn close, right? It was very narrow. At least I've opened up a little bit, and this can be laughed at. I'm sure it would. So there's a couple main. Turkey was forever, right? But now my in-laws make ham, and ham has made a remarkable resurgence here in the last little bit in terms of its popularity. I always thought ham was Christmas. We had it on Christmas and we had it on Easter. It wasn't until lately that ham became a mainstay. And I'm telling you right now, I am aching for that. So that mainstay, obviously with turkey, goes without saying. Rolls is coming up. That goes, again, without saying. 2 or 3 of those. Wheat rolls, most a specialty for me, but I mean, I can flip either way on that. That's not too particular. Stuffing was something I never went near until, again, late in life. I was a picky eater. I still am. I understand it. I fully admit it. My son is trying to expand his palate here at 6.5. Hard to do when his dad won't eat a lot of that stuff, so I'm going right with him. But that's a big one. And then last but not least, considering we had it here earlier at the station this week, is the French silk / chocolate pie. That is a non-negotiable item in our home. I went and actually bought it a couple weeks ago because I knew there was going to be a rush on it at the store. So there was no way I was going to go to the store either yesterday or the previous Sunday leading up and they're out. Like, that ain't happening. There's under no circumstances are we going to have that not be the case. And the neat part about that is that that was a new dessert for my in-laws. That was something my grandma used to make forever and ever. And then when I got old enough, now my own family, I can't make anything. I'm useless in the kitchen. But if I can contribute at least a little something, that would be it. So that is, for me, what I got to have. Some variation of that. Now, the challenge this year, and I'll report back next week because I'm taking Friday off, so I'll be back on Monday, is what did I add? Because I got to try something. My son's going to try it. I've got to go down that road. Now, I'm not sure what. Like green bean casserole my wife makes, that's not my favorite thing in the world. I think my son's going to try it, so that might be something I have to dive into, potentially. Or something, cranberries, I'm not huge on that. Jackman is, so maybe that's the avenue, but I got to try one. So when we come back on Monday's program, I will reveal that. I know everybody's going to be waiting on bated breath for that. Now, as I mentioned, the football part of this goes without saying on Thanksgiving and what we got going on. And for Viking fans, there's one game that's committed to memory, of course, is Randy Moss's welcome to the NFL of what he did in 1998. But we're also this year celebrating the 25th anniversary of another Randy Moss game against the Dallas Cowboys. And frankly, I forgot this game. Everyone knows the 98 game, his rookie year when he went crazy and was jumping over guys and scored 3 touchdowns. But this game in 2000, first off, I can't believe that the NFL said, hey, we're going to put the Vikes on again against Dallas again. But that 2000 season, as we all know how that ended, with Dante Culpepper, I mean, first off, watch Dante Culpepper throw was a work of art. Look at that. There are 3 Cowboys, and he still caught the ball. I mean, Watching this guy play, and you can only say it now 25 years on, for a younger audience that never saw Randy Moss play, or they maybe saw him with the Patriots at the end in 2007 when he was still pretty damn good. This is peak Moss here, when he was just the most unstoppable player out there. I mean, literally, these guys had no chance of covering him. That was just the start. Watch the 2 touchdowns he scored in this game. By the way, shout out to the old Fox box in the top. Look at this. Toe tap, bobbled, caught it with a Cowboy secondary going crazy. Watch this again. Bobbled it, got it back. He caught it basically with his fingernails. Shout out to those old Viking helmets, by the way. Can we bring those back? And the toe tap in the back of the end zone. That was pretty darn good. And then how about one more? Again, you think Dante just throwing this away. No, he's got it right where it absolutely has to be for another touchdown. Stop it. Are you kidding? And I get it. There are some great receivers now. There ain't nobody like this guy. And there might never be. He was so much fun to watch. And again, growing up, we never got the Vikings either. Okay? The NFC team we got all the time was the Giants, who never had any wide receivers. So when we got to see Moss play, and the Vikes weren't on a whole lot. They got on more when Moss and Culpepper and those guys were doing it, so they would get on Monday night or a Sunday night game occasionally. To see him do this, it was just like, take your breath away. Like, this guy is unstoppable. There's literally no one who could cover him. That was 25 years ago, Thanksgiving. I know the 98 game is memory burn. That one should not be too far behind. 7 for 144 and 2. And then the other guy at least for me, I automatically think of is Barry Sanders. Because, again, the Lions were on TV once a year. And from 1989 to 1998, the best player on the Lions was Barry Sanders. And it's hard to describe, again, for an audience that doesn't know what I'm talking about, never saw him play. He was like a comet flying across. It was a brief deal, but every time he was out there, he would do something. And I think back Thanksgiving 1997 when the Lions are playing the Chicago Bears at the old Pontiac Silverdome. And again, that old Fox scoreboard, shout out to that, is him going nuts. I mean, 167 and 3 touchdowns. And again, the Lions were never any good. Sanders played on some terrible teams with terrible quarterbacks. They had Dave Craig, Eric Kramer, Scott Mitchell, you name it. I mean, they were not good. Now this year they were 9-7 and made the playoffs. Actually, for the 5th time in 7 years, which is crazy. I never would have remembered that. Bobby Ross was their head coach. He had 11 consecutive 100-yard games that season. This game against the Bears obviously goes without saying of what he did here on Thanksgiving Day. They actually ended up winning the game 55-20 was the final in front of 72,000 at the old Pontiac Silverdome. That year was the year he nearly broke the all-time rushing mark. He got over 2,000. I remember this because they played the Jets in their final game of the season, and the Jets actually were contending for a playoff berth, shockingly enough, with Bill Parcells as their head coach, and the Lions won that game to get them into the playoffs. Barry that year became only the 3rd man to rush for 2,000 yards in a season. O.J. Simpson, Eric Dickerson were the others that did it. 2,105. That was the all-time record that Dickerson had. He entered the game with 1869. Needed 237 in the final game. Just crazy, crazy stat. Just so much fun to watch. And the game is so different now. That was 1997, so now we're a full almost 30 years removed from that, which is, again, old man here ranting on Thanksgiving, but that was so much fun. I'm never going to apologize for more football because I think it's cool there's another game tonight, but man, those days when you only had the 2, And those ratings numbers were crazy. Now, today, it might be the most watched regular season game ever. They put the Kansas City Chiefs on Thanksgiving because the Chiefs have to be on every bleeping holiday. Last year, they were on Christmas. Now it's Thanksgiving against Dallas. And that late game, and Dallas is 500. So are the Chiefs, for that matter. But that late window, that's when everybody either is getting ready to eat or done eating or commiserating and just snacking. There's going to be a ton of eyeballs on that game. I'm not sure the amount of eyeballs are going to be on the game Sunday in Seattle, but it certainly looks like J.J. McCarthy is not going to be on the field. The report from The Athletic that came out on Wednesday from Diana Rossini is that J.J. is not going to play in the game against the Seattle Seahawks. And that stems from the hard hit that he got late in the game. Here it is against Green Bay. We're surmising that this is when the concussion symptoms happen on that one, when he's driven into the turf. And all signs are pointing to Max Brosmer. Max Brosmer is going to be the guy after 1 year at the University of Minnesota, will be starting against the 12th man and the Seattle Seahawks, who have a pretty darn good defense. I've already said enough on the McCarthy deal that there's not much more I can add to it, simply because of the fact that this has just not gone the way anybody anticipated. And you're going to see it with Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold going to be on the opposite sideline of the game Sunday, and just kind of raise your head up and like, boy, what could have been here? And this is another injury. I mean, he already missed 6 weeks with the ankle. Who knows how long he's going to be out with this? But all signs are pointing to Brosmer, the undrafted free agent who played 4 years in New Hampshire, is going to be the guy starting for the Vikings on Sunday. We've got a packed lineup for you here on this Thanksgiving Day. We're really excited about it. The Bison women's basketball team is heading to Florida for the next couple games. You're going to meet one of their standout players who is just a freshman. Karrington Asp will join us coming up here in just a few minutes about her freshman season with Bison women's basketball. Excited about that. At 9:35, the head football coach of the University of North Dakota, Eric Schmidt, as the Fighting Hawks get set for their playoff opener coming up on Saturday against Tennessee Tech. The challenges that the Fighting Hawks have matching up with TTU. That's coming up at 9:35. Our second hour, Kevin Feeney will join us, head coach of the Moorhead Spuds. After a disappointing, devastating loss in the 6A championship game on Friday. Reflect on that. I'm trying not to make them cry on Thanksgiving with their matchup with Edina, and unpack what was a fantastic season. And then, of course, we got picks with my dad to wrap up the show at about 10:35 this morning. So a great Thanksgiving Day lineup here to get us rocking and rolling. So we'll take our first break. We come back. Karrington Asp on her freshman year at North Dakota State about starting early, now joining the team and becoming one of the top players for the Bison women's basketball team. That's coming up on this Thanksgiving morning. We're back right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Thanksgiving show off and rolling. You'll hear from Eric Schmidt, UND head football coach, coming up in just a little bit. Kevin Feeney coming up in our second hour as well. It is not all football dominated here. There's also basketball going on all over the place, as we've got college tournaments all over. The North Dakota State men are in Arkansas. The UND men may have everybody beat. They're out in Hawaii to play there. The UND women are in the Virgin Islands, and the Bison women are in Florida as they get ready for back-to-back games against Campbell and Bethune-Cookman coming up on Friday and on Saturday. Before the Bison left, though, they got a nice win over Tulane on Friday night to get to 3-2 early on in this young season. And if there's been one player that has come up, we knew Avery Coonan was good. We knew Jossie Schiller was good. It's freshman Karrington Asp that has had a fantastic start to this season. Now, the backstory on Karrington before play my conversation with her. She actually came up to Fargo last January. She graduated high school early decided to enroll early and was part of the team last year, participated in practices, obviously couldn't play in any games, but got a head start on her collegiate career. And boy, that has paid off in more ways than one, because now, frankly, she's become option 3 on a Bison team that has some high aspirations for when they get to Summit League play. Here's my conversation with a freshman from Iowa about her quick start to this season.
Definitely slowed down a bit, but there's still moments where it's spinning because, learning new offense. I never learned the offense really last year, but that has been rough for me, but we're getting there, but I love it.
So I got to start first with the first game, being back close to home. What was it surreal? Describe what that game was like at Northern Iowa.
That was definitely special. Even our shoot around that day, it was just walking onto that court, where I used to watch people growing, or whoa, pause. Okay. Just people that I watched growing up, and just being able to be on that court myself and play and just walk onto it and play, it was just really surreal, and it did feel real, especially with all my family there. People I didn't expect to be there was there, and that was really fun, and just connecting with everybody back home was awesome.
All right, it's all of 4 games, but describe has this met your expectations, or this is even beyond what you thought Division I basketball would be?
I think it's met my expectations. It's just been really fun for me, I'm so a competitive person, and just being out there and being able to go compete, it has been definitely met my expectation. And not playing a game for 15 months before this, it was just getting back in a basketball game. I didn't care what level, it was just, I was good with all of it. So
I want to go there. I mean, obviously last year was a decision you made, but knowing full well it was going to be a long time between playing. How much of a mental challenge was that?
That was definitely one of the things that I debated. I definitely thought about that when I was making my decision to come early, because I was I need to play basketball. But honestly, I played enough in practice and back home that I was good with missing 15 months. And I love not just the playing part of basketball. I love the grind outside of it and practice. So that was definitely big for me, and getting a game was definitely nice, though, for sure.
Just what was that first few minutes of getting back out there playing, because you haven't played since you were a junior in high school?
Mm-hmm. It was a little nerve-wracking at first, especially in front of everybody. Even our scrimmage that we had here, the first scrimmage, that was the most nerve-wracking part. But once you get used to it and once you step on the court, kind of everything just goes away, every worry, and then you're just out there playing, and you don't really have time to think about that kind of stuff when you're on this level. So,
well, on the outside, it seems like it's been a seamless transition. Does it feel like that, or just tell me, to have the kind of success you've had, has that surprised you so
far? Yeah, it's surprised me. Not really, but it has. Because I have put in so much work, and I've been with this team for so long. Getting on the court was just the next step, and I was just excited for that. So it was pretty smooth transition, and I was just excited to get out there. So,
did you have any personal goals that you set for yourself for this year outside of, hey, I just want to get back out and play? What did you set any self for this season?
Actual basketball goals?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we at the end of each season we have a meeting with Jory and have a list of goals, team goals, personal goals, and I definitely had a lot of those, and I'm a big goal person. I like to go for goals, and so some of them were freshman player of the year, some just things like that, points per game and minutes per game and all that. So
if I had to tell you this is what the path would be, 15, 18 months ago, would you do it all over again?
Yes, 100% yes. I would totally leave early again and again, come here early and get with this team. I love this place. So, and even outside of basketball, I've grown so much as a person just being here. So, yes, I would come back.
Describe, I mean, we were just talking off camera. First, trip next week. You're going to go to some spots you've never even thought about going before. Tell me the excitement level of that, of what basketball's going to take you.
I am so excited. I mean, I haven't flown very much. I've traveled for AAU a lot, but we drove everywhere. So I'm so excited. And away games are always so fun with this team, being in the hotel and going to get dinner. It's so fun. And a longer trip, I'm so excited for it.
Playing with Avery, how much does that make you better?
A lot. She is strong and very good, and a really good leader too, on and off the court. So it has been a really good experience getting to know her and playing with her, and she's made me a better ball player for sure.
What has this been like for your family to go through this? Because we talked last year, this was a family decision as well that you were going to do this. To now see you out there playing, what's your mom and dad's reaction been here through the first little bit?
Well, if you come to any of our games, my mom's always the loudest one, probably in the gym, and you always know it's my parents, just by the way they look and the way they cheer. But they've also loved it. They moved up here too, so
That's right. Okay, yeah.
so they're close and get to come to a lot of games. So that's really special, and it's just been a fun experience for them too. And they love getting to see me play and everybody play. So
What has that been like to have them be here?
it's really nice. At first I was
Did they come last year or no?
yeah they came well, not last year, but like September this year.
Okay.
Or earlier than that. But
You did last year the last 5 months by yourself. So to have them here now, what has that been like?
it has been really nice. It's been nice to have my dog close. I love my dog. But it's been really nice just being able to go home once in a while, like if we have an off day, and see my parents and talk to them about basketball and get some home cooked meals for sure. That's a big one.
Describe now is there been anything surprised you about Division I basketball?
I don't think so. I mean, the speed of the game is a lot faster than like what I'm used to from my high school or from even AAU, which I knew was going to happen, but I feel like that was the biggest like difference.
4 games in, give me a sense of where this team is at. I mean, I was talking with Jory about this morning on my show, that you've played 4 different levels. You played a non-Division I, you played Nebraska, you played a Gonzaga team that's pretty good in Northern Iowa. Is it hard to kind of gauge where you guys are at right now through 4 games?
I think we definitely know who we are, and we are a good team, and we just need to put together 4 quarters and 40 minutes of a ball game. We have a lot of good players, a lot of talent on this team, and we can play together really well, and we can play fast. But we just have to put it all together, and then we'll be golden.
Karrington Asp from the Bison women's basketball team, who's obviously already well on her way to being one of the standout players on this roster, who's already been a big-time game changer for them. And that head start, while many would say, boy, you want to give up the last half of your senior year, she said she was ready, and certainly it's looked like that on the court. Again, Bison have back-to-back games coming up down in Jacksonville, Florida, University of North Florida's tournament. They're going to be facing off against Bethune-Cookman tomorrow, or on Saturday, excuse me. They have a game with the Campbell Camels, the Fighting Camels, coming up tomorrow. So that's their next couple games. They're back home next week. Montana State will be here for the Big Sky Summit League Challenge. That's on CBS Sports Network, actually. We don't get to televise that game a week from Wednesday, but looking forward to seeing what the Bison will do now as we close in now in the back end of non-conference play with Summit League play not that far away. And Karrington Asp is high goals, you're to say there. She wants to be Freshman of the Year in the Summit. All right, we'll break. We come back. Time for some football chatter on this Thanksgiving. UND's got a game this weekend. You'll hear from head coach Eric Schmidt as the Fighting Hawks get ready for their matchup with Tennessee Tech. That's coming up on this Thanksgiving Day edition of Hot Mike. We're back after this. Because it means we're going to talk about the Spuds, which I have a way too personal attachment to now, off of an unbelievable season that just wrapped up on Friday night in the 6A championship game. The Spuds fell to Edina, 42-35. I don't know if you wanted to spend Thanksgiving with me or not, but you had no choice. We welcome in Kevin Feeney, head coach of the Moorhead Spuds. Before we get anything, Tay Rich designed this.
Those are
can this be the new alternate helmet next year? Can we
I saw
do
that
this?
tweet. I like
can
that.
Can we do
I like
that?
Yeah, we can probably make
orange
that happen.
helmet with the or black helmet.
Probably
orange?
black helmet
okay.
with the orange with the chrome. Maybe we go
This is
chrome. That is really good. Is really good.
All right, it's not even been a week, but how you dealing with everything? I know this every loss sits with you differently. I know the Alexandria games I may still sit with you. Right. So where does this one sit?
This one's going to take a while to get over, no doubt. I mean, the mountain that has to be climbed to get to that point. I just those opportunities only come few and far between. And so you got to really hit on them. But you know what? It's going to take a while for, I think, a majority of us to get over it. But on the same token, it's got to move on. And you know, in those Alexandria games, or let's say that Elk River game back in 2019,
another one.
You know, like I look back and those following seasons were pretty good, and so it drove our team in this off season, and that's the plan right now. I have full confidence that our group feels like that we're going to run it back. Now, I know the challenges that come to hand, but a lot of 16, 17-year-olds right now telling me we'll get back to where we just were.
You've been a part of some really tough moments. I can't even imagine what like after the game was like on Friday night.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, both everything, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I spoke to our pregame, and I just said, you know what? I've been a part of football teams for almost 45 years with my dad's programs, right? I mean, from 5 years old, I've been a part of it, and we talked about how special it is that football could bring everybody together. It's really hard in my family to get everybody together, and football is probably the one thing that does bring this whole thing together. And we talked about, you know, you have your blood family, but you definitely have your football family, and the people that were at US Bank Stadium definitely had our backs, and it was an amazing crowd.
All right, have you watched anything yet?
No.
You want to watch
Full
this
disclosure,
a little bit here?
I have not, and I haven't done it for a reason.
That David Mack play, by the way, was not a
not
design play, correct?
No, not at all. In fact, that was the only pass that he's dropped, I think, in a long time. But yeah, what a play!
That was a fantastic play, because Courtney, my wife, texted me. Goes, does David normally do like nah? And I'm not watching. I was calling the basketball game. Like, no, that's not normal. I hadn't seen it yet. And like, well, that was pure.
No.
Just take it off and make a play. All right, so you got to see him twice this year. Mason West up close. He could play football at another level if he wanted to.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and the thing that I keep trying to explain to everybody, that was the beauty of this game, man. I just look at some of the players and the competitiveness.
Yeah.
I just don't think people understand the competitive nature that a lot of these kids had on the field wearing either jersey.
Yeah.
And I can speak from our house, obviously, a little bit more. And the belief that we were there to win was as high as it had ever been.
Well, it was high-level football, man. I'm telling you, just watching it back, the amount of guys out there, not necessarily going to play Division I, and there's going to be more than a handful of guys. This is a great throw, by the way, right in the bucket where it's got to be.
Yeah, you know what? The emotions were high, though. They were really high after the game. But I tried to explain to the guys, when it means that much, I mean, that
means it's important,
it's
right?
important.
Yeah.
And I told my wife, I said, I think I've only seen Jet cry twice. One of them was when he broke both wrists when he was a kindergartner. Thought he could slingshot himself on some monkey bars and breaks both of his wrists. And I think Friday night was the second time that I've ever seen it. But yeah, it's going to sting for a while. But on the same token, I think these kids, like I said, will be really, really motivated to get back.
The amount of chatter after the game centered on your son, frankly, that, hey, he might not be an FCS level quarterback. He might be a Power 4 quarterback. I know you're going to go through this. This spring's going to be wild for you and him, but when you hear that, what goes through your mind?
You know, I think the big thing, you know, for him throughout this summer, it was kind of always the question marks is, okay, what type of off-schedule stuff can he do? Will he make plays with his feet and all that kind of stuff? And, you know, prior to this season, you know, when you're playing as a freshman and you're playing as a sophomore, you're saying, get the ball out. I mean, you're still 15 years old. You know what I mean? Get the ball out and get it into the guy's hands. And I think then, you know, going into the season and then when he got hurt, he wasn't able to kind of showcase some of that stuff. But, you know, the quality teams that we played and then the different styles of defense that we're going to try and take away some of our weapons required him to extend plays and make plays with his feet. And I tell you what, I was super impressed. Trey and I talked about it after the game about him, just saying, you know what, that he's got it. I mean, he's got the ability to extend a play and make some guys miss and then put a ball. I mean, our big thing all the time has always been we're going to scramble to throw.
Yeah.
But when you have to put it down, you got to tuck it down. And I thought physically, you know, he went in with some thunder, and he's got some mass to him in that lower half that can create some good collisions.
You might need a tighter chin strap.
Yes, he does.
What's that about, by the way?
I joked with him because he thought this was ever since the playoffs. Well, he hadn't shaved in like a year since football started, right? And so I kept joking with him when his helmet came off the week before. I'm like, I think it has to do with a little bit of fuzz on the bottom of your helmet, and he started laughing. But No, yeah, we do need to. I'm going to get our equipment guy to get him a new helmet.
Because Austin came in and ran a couple plays, and I mean, you didn't change anything
No.
up when Austin came in.
No, I mean, but that's the beauty. I mean,
Right.
that's the thing. We
What
got,
happened when he played 4.5 games,
played
right?
against
Yeah.
some of the best teams in the state
Yeah.
and had to go out and perform. And so key points in the game too.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the ball at the half-yard line. My last thing, last week I said he told me he hadn't run the reverse, and so we wanted to go under center and just run duo. And I looked at him, I go, you've taken snaps under center with Andy, right? And he goes, yeah, coach, I'll be fine. And I'm like, all right. That made me feel a little bit better this time than last week. But
did you take him, and we talked about this when you were on the show, did you take a minute just to look around and then
I did.
On television, the crowd looked you were there. It looked fantastic on Friday night.
It was amazing. And I don't get a chance, obviously, who's there. But, in the last couple of days, my wife was telling me a lot about all the people that were there, and just whether it's former players, whether it's guys from the '87 team, whether it's just friends of ours from the Fargo Moorhead area. It is insane how many people that came out and supported. And like I said, I think our kids do understand how special that this run was, because the community just completely rallied around them.
The fact you had this many more games added on, is this the most you've been in a season?
Yeah. 13, 12.
Normally
is always,
12 in North Dakota
right,
was always the limit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 13 games, and like our staff talked about it last night in our final staff meeting for the year was, I don't think the kids ever. They didn't. They never made an excuse for how much we were on the road. But some of us coaches were like 6 weeks in a row. You know what I mean? Of
Nobody does
down
that.
there. No.
I mean, and at the FCS level, the most you do is 4 in the playoffs if you're doing that. And normally you get a week off, too, and thrown in.
And that's where I'm just saying, like, I think people don't understand the challenges that we actually had and the perseverance that these kids just continued to play with. It was fun to be around. I mean, I think that was the worst part about the way the season ends is that team will be known as the team that got beat in the championship game. And you know what? I look at it as that team overcame more than what a normal team should ever have to go through.
Well, I have not asked you this, so take me back to you're leaving Woodbury the first time. What's going through your mind knowing that Jet might be seriously hurt here, or is seriously hurt?
Yeah, you know what? We didn't know what the extent of the injury was at that time, and then when we did find out earlier that week of what it actually was, I told him, I said, don't Google it, man. You know what I mean? Because we didn't know. And Dr. Noonan was phenomenal as far as helping us and try to get us to understand what we were going to go through. But I said, don't Google it, man. Well, of course, what is a, because it said it could be a year long. And when you're talking about a thrower to your right side of your body, and things were scary.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of kids, not just obviously him, but also the rest of our team. Because you got to wonder, hey, where do we go from here? Because we aren't your conventional offense like in 6A football or 5A. We put a lot on our guys. And so, but yeah, I think once we got kind of clarification that there was going to be a return, then it was full steam ahead. And I think what you saw to Jet these last few weeks was probably more of an appreciation for something that was taken away that was super important to him. And I think that's a quality that you can't get in recruiting. You know what I mean? I just think that type of stuff. But, consistently throughout this playoff, some of the coaches, the head coaches that he's talked to, it's like, guess what? Winners win. And Jet just kind of had that confidence, and it kind of just carried over into our entire football team.
I found most often, especially in football, when guys have something taken away, there's way more appreciation for it. Did you notice that when he was back at practice? Like,
Big time.
Was it a different attitude or anything about that?
It was more of a, like I just felt like our whole football team kind of got that just energy back. And it's not like, like I said, Austin did an amazing job. And I told him this after our game was over. I said, we would have never gotten here, Austin, if it wasn't for you, because you held it together during the most challenging times, right? And I told our football team after that Eden Prairie game 100% that I knew after that game, with the bullets that we played with that game, and to go for 2 against a team
and
like
nearly
them,
win,
to
right?
win the football game on the road in an environment that was, it had like 11, 12,000 people at that game. And I just said to our team, I love this team. And once we got it back, obviously a lot of things had to go into place. But I told our team, I really felt like they had an opportunity.
For people that don't know, well, I want to come back and look back at some of the playoffs, some happy moments from the playoffs. And had you won that game, would that have changed your complete route?
It could have.
Of
It
who
could
you
have
would have played
easily.
in the playoffs?
You know what? Had we won that game, there was a good chance we could have been the 3 seed.
Okay. So then you're hosting a game,
which means we're hosting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah. So I mean, it could have drastically changed, but. You know what? The way the brackets and all that kind of stuff.
And you told me that the day of the first Edina game said, okay, well, I think we're pretty much locked in. We're going to be a 6, and let's go with that.
I thought there was a path. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I just thought that our football team, kind of not ignorance is the right word, just not knowing what they didn't know.
Yeah.
Was going to be very beneficial for us. And I think our kids, like, I look at that Blaine game as kind of the game, right? Because you think you have a chance, and you think you have a chance to make a good run.
Yeah.
But if you can't get that first one, obviously it ain't going to matter. But that Blaine game, I thought our kids kind of just was like, hey, you know what? We're ready to roll here. and the moment has never been too big for this group of kids. And I think you kind of saw that as we just kind of continued our run.
All right, let's break. When we come back, much more with Cav. We'll look back at some of the fun playoff moments over the last few weeks and I've got to find out to the Thanksgiving staples at the Feeney house.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that's pretty
go.
good. So let's do that. We'll break back on our Thanksgiving Day edition of Hot Mike. Eric Schmidt also coming up in our second hour as UND gets ready for the playoffs. We'll do that back after this. All right, welcome back. Wrapping up our first hour with Spuds head football coach Kevin Feeney. All right, your football team is perfect for Thanksgiving because you got the colors. What's the staple on Thanksgiving food for you?
You know what? So we just had this at our house. All of a sudden, my wife said we're having steaks, and I'm like, "What do you mean we're having steaks?" And we normally don't host, but with Trey's situation,
you still have more football. Your football season is not done yet.
It is, thankfully. But yeah, so I guess we're doing both because I was like, we're still going to do a turkey. I'm like, me and Jet both wanted a turkey, and she might not be the most turkey person.
Yeah.
So we've got both. But
all right.
Back at home, my mom's, you'll laugh at this. She makes a huge spread, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's insane because it's a big family. But she's got this rice. It's this rice that she takes the turkey drippings from. I don't. Nobody else attempts to make it in my family because she's the only one
that can do it.
That can do it, and she got it from her mom.
Wow.
And so,
well,
like,
that's the best
we
then.
talked about it. And Jamie's like, should I do the rice? I'm like, you ever made it? And she goes, no. And I go, don't even try that. Don't even try. But, yeah, you know, the normals. But Jet wanted twice baked potatoes, too, this year.
I've had
what he's
that. That's actually
really
pretty
good.
Yep.
Really, really good.
So do you normally eat, like, afternoon? When's the big one? Do you eat
the big
lunch?
one? The big one usually is short, right afternoon, like
Okay.
like 1-ish. And then
when the Lions start losing, yours leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Not anymore.
Yeah. But then it just goes literally through the rest of the night,
All
and
right.
nobody ever really stops. And especially with my boys, it doesn't stop.
Well, let's chat about that because we've said so much about Jet. Trey's had a great year, and I saw the game against Concordia, which had to be awesome to see that back here. Describe this, that he was platooning to start and then became the guy at St. John's in the middle part of the year.
Yeah, you know what? And patience isn't a great quality of any ours, right? And I think
Especially if you're a quarterback, man.
Right,
it just
right.
does not go.
And I think the big thing for him was just rhythm. You know what? He was getting his snaps and stuff like that, but he just wanted more rhythm and just more opportunities. And a big part of it for him was, you know, when you got two different voices in the huddle, it's hard to be that true leader. And I think he felt like he needed to really kind of take that team into a next step for his leadership abilities, and he's not a big rah-rah guy, but it's that day in and day out, how he does his meetings, how he does his lifting, how he does his practice, and all that kind of stuff is really just super important to him. And so it's been fun. You know, I think he was just named all conference.
Yeah,
and so,
congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, but now the important football, and I know he's super excited for an opportunity to just keep earning games, and that was been our slogan, right? It was earn 48 more minutes. He needs more than 48 minutes, but. Now it's just trying to find another week to keep practicing.
I know a lot of people have been to Collegeville. Now you've been there as a
incredible.
dad. What is that like?
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't
It is
Yeah.
really, really good.
I know Collegeville's mixed memories because you play. I know Chase had a monster game there.
Yeah, we beat Sartell there in a
which was
section
a
championship.
neutral site game.
Right. No,
that's the one I remember that stood out to me from you at Collegeville.
It's a fantastic setting, and they get great. I mean, their little selling point is other than the Vikings and the Gophers. they draw the biggest attendance
Yep.
in the state of Minnesota.
Yep.
And so, and they do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This weekend's probably going to be 25 degrees, and they'll have
Be
8 to
packed.
10,000 fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's really, really neat environment.
You won't be cold by yourself, I guess. So
I'll be all right.
What do we know about Monmouth out of Indiana?
Well, I know they've had a very successful season.
Yeah.
They've had a coach that's been there for a long time, and I think Trey just said basically their front four is really, really good, and so they're going to have a big challenge.
One thing, and this is again, we talked about this when Trey found St. John's to go to, that this is maybe the first stop wasn't the place. He's found a home, and that's maybe the most important thing.
He has, and I think the biggest thing is the opportunity to have a relationship with those coaches, and he just kept saying, Dad, these guys are just really good guys. You know what I mean? And then the expectation to win was super important to Trey.
Yeah.
And then the last piece of it, of course, was the style of play. And he's getting to throw the football over 40 times a game, which is pretty dang good.
Well, I joked with Cole Heckendorf when he was on the show, a month and a half ago, about winging it all the time. That's like, you're not used to that from his college days of when he played here.
No, but you know what? Guess what? When your offense coordinator is a wide receiver, I joked with Trey. That's okay because he wants the ball. And they've got some tremendous weapons. I mean, just some tremendous. And a great offensive line that has got a lot of
Well, it's funny because seeing St. Thomas here last weekend, knowing obviously what they did in the MIAC, and Glenn's got his, and I know you know how much you know Glenn of what they have their work cut out for him, but their departure is St. John's gain because between them and Bethel, probably maybe Gustavus. That's the trio in the MIAC right now.
Yeah, it is. And Bethel, I think they've got a great opportunity to advance, and I think both those teams feel like they could maybe run into each other.
Yeah,
later
maybe.
on.
That'll be fun to watch. Okay, speaking of fun, I try to compile maybe the best plays from the playoff run from the last few games. Should we dive into this here a little bit?
Let's go.
Because I want to start with the Blaine game you mentioned in our last segment was maybe the jumping off point for everything. You started that game with this bomb of a touchdown. What did that do for the game?
I remember, first of all, we didn't know how teams were going to defend us, right, at that level. And I remember literally celebrating with David after I said, zero respect, man.
Yeah.
They literally on the first play of the game went one-on-one with them.
And there's another one here, Woodbury. And Zach Walker comes. I mean, how many big plays did he make?
Yeah,
you know
what? Zach is a wicked, explosive kid.
Yeah.
And Jet's got a lot of confidence in him, too. And
all right, take me through this play, because this one I know you talked about. This is the kick return against Centennial.
Yeah, so they had the wind at their back. They weren't stopping us, and so we felt like they were going to try and sneak a possession. We put our hands team out to open up the third quarter, and they tried to pooch it, and we saw it all, and the coaches screaming, and we're yelling at Tay, but Zach Walker and David Mack get an amazing block.
By the way, this is the first time I think I saw your son use his leg. This was a great run against Lakeville South.
It was. This was all ad lib too. I mean, they just dropped everybody, and I think, like I said, he won the opportunity to run. He's been asking for it, and I've been kind of shying away from it, but. You know, a lot of this stuff.
That's a big time throw and catch. By the way,
that was huge. We had a penalty before that that causes getting a long yard situation.
This is the reverse here that you did against Lakeville South to Zach Walker and that was Austin was in the game for that, correct?
Yeah, he was. This is a dot. This is a dot.
Who, by the way, is the flag guy for you guys?
It couldn't be any better. I know he got in big trouble too, but it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. He got in big trouble for being on the field and literally ran right in front of the official. I thought it was the coolest thing. I thought it was the best. The highlight of that was amazing.
Watching that live like that is first off, he knew that he was in bounds.
He was. He didn't even give that referee a chance to say like maybe we should go review this. But amazing catch by Zach. He did get his feet down. But yeah, such fun memories. And I think that's the thing. Eventually, when these kids kind of keep going through this, they're going to look back, and this is a pretty special run.
When you think back on, it's going to take a while, I know, but especially how fun was this? You did it with Jet, but at the end, Trey was there for the last couple games on the sidelines with you.
Yeah, huge. I mean, I don't want to get emotional on this, but I know how special it is. I like I said, our football family and our blood family really run together, and the opportunity to have Trey there. I mean, Trey and Jet, number one, it helps our football team, because those two literally see the game the exact same way. And so, like, with the amount of position meetings we've had in our house, they speak the same language. They see it the same way. And so to have Trey on the iPads on the sideline, I mean, I was like, dude, we got to get you a headset and so we can hear your voice too. And a lot of this stuff too. And I mean, David's at our house every single day. And so Jet and David and Trey, I mean, they're just connected, and they all have great thoughts, and so we've got to utilize those things.
This is hard to speculate or guess on, but I'll ask you anyway. As we get ready for 2026 and the early part of this. How wild is this going to be for Spud football, where people are going to hear your kids' names out there, that they're going to get offers from schools that they're may have to take a double take with?
I think it's going to take off for a handful of these guys, and that's a credit to them. I mean, they're putting in the work. They're putting the work in, and not just the football season. That's the part people don't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, it is crazy, and everybody does it, but these kids are wired different. I mean, you laugh, but we were going through our awards, and when your top guys are being nominated, for example, for weightlifter of the year. I just go back to not too many quarterbacks, wide receivers, like those type of guys aren't usually in that conversation, right? But that tells you how driven these guys are. But I think, another 4 to 6 months of development, I just think, the ceiling is going to be wicked high for some of these guys.
I've been trying to tell people on this, hey, just be prepared. Like the sticker shock when they see a tweet go out from a guy, like, yeah, that's for real. That's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that David was on an Ohio State visit, I mean, like,
right?
It's just that kind of stuff, but it's, how it goes. Once you get one, the dominoes go really fast. But I think it's going to be fun. I think these guys I think they've got the right head on their shoulders to understand there's still a lot of work to be done, but on the same token, they've earned that right, and they believe that that's where they should be.
Last thing, I remember, this is a while ago, when you got the job, you and I talked about what you had, the long-range vision. I don't know, maybe this took longer than you thought, but now that you've reached that point, it's like, okay, what my grand plan here, we're on that. We're just a breath away from really doing something special.
Yeah, and I think that's the neatest part is when I literally was kind of reflecting on these last few weeks, it was like, this is 16 years, man.
Yeah.
16 years that it maybe took to get into the U.S. Bank. Now, we had great teams throughout it, but the highs and the lows, whether it's on the field or off the field, that's kind of what makes this that much more special, and that's where that opportunity was super, super neat. And with this crew and football, it takes what it takes, man. And I say that because there's a lot of things that got to go right, but you got to hit some of those lows to reach those highs. And I think that's what's been super fun about this group.
Thanks for doing this, man. This was great. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks so much for spending a little bit with us here today, okay?
Hey, thanks, too. You guys do a great job, man.
It was fun to watch, but it was great. Again, can make this happen.
Yes,
can we do this
I
for
will.
2020?
I'll get that done. I'll get that one done.
Or like on the sleeve. We could do that. We could do something like that.
We'll make it happen.
The Jackman loved it, so he made sure we had it here. So have a great holiday, okay?
Hey, thanks, man.
Kevin Feeney joining us here in studio. We'll come back. We'll start our second hour. You'll hear from UND's Eric Schmidt as they get ready for their playoff opener. We roll on our Thanksgiving Day show. We're back on Hot Mic right after this.
This is Hot Mic. Hot Mic. On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 ready to rock and roll. We've got playoff football coming up on Saturday. University of North Dakota is got a second life after their crazy game with South Dakota State. They lost that game for their 5th loss of the season, but yet they are still alive for the postseason after they heard their name was called on Sunday morning. They've got a date with Tennessee Tech out of the Big South Ohio Valley Conference. The Golden Eagles lost one game this year. That was to Kentucky out of the SEC. They went unbeaten against FCS teams. Ironically enough, they were the 7th-ranked team in the last playoff rankings that came out the first week of November, but for some reason we got up Selection Sunday morning. They're seeded 13th. I think they were fully anticipating that maybe they'd have the weekend off and not be playing, instead against a pretty talented Valley team that is tested. UND has 5 losses on the year by a combined 17 points. I had a chance to visit with head coach Eric Schmidt earlier this week about finding out they were in the tournament, and now the matchup with Tennessee Tech.
Just for the players more than anything else, I knew how much it meant to them. Just how hurt they were leaving the locker room on Saturday evening. For them to be able to really get a new life, I thought, the energy, in the building, it was just, obviously a sense of relief, and then a sense of, hey, man, like, we got an opportunity here now to be able to extend our season and go do some things. And really, I think the mindset changes now to like, hey, go take advantage, of the opportunity that you've been given. And I think that's really where our guys have been at ever since they saw the news on Sunday afternoon.
You've been on the flip side of that. I remember when you guys were waiting and didn't see your name. Just can you describe, you've been on both sides, the emotions of that and how different that is?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard whenever you're a bubble team. I think in any, sport, when you're talking about any selection committee and, what's going to happen, when you're in those situations, man, it's never easy when, when you put yourself in positions to be able to, have your fate decided by other people. And, just really grateful, like I said, for us. I think, the one thing I think really helped us, obviously, a lot made about early in the year and throughout the year about the scheduling and scheduling the right teams. I think, if you're just an average fan, you look at the number of wins and stuff like that. I think, wins over certain people have to matter. When we're always, it's ADs and people in that are in that committee. They know who, they're all part of the scheduling, years in advance when you're trying to schedule all these different games. And, we're still trying to schedule games for next year yet and really trying to be aggressive in that way. And how many times that we've been, denied, or, people say, no, we're good. We don't want to play you, for whatever reason. I think, hopefully at the end of the day, like we want the best 24 teams in. I think you got to play, the right teams in the during the regular season, and hopefully that continues to be, a huge part of the criteria because we want the crossover games between the leagues and have, we want to be playing Montanas and Montana States and UC Davises and go down and play, some of the Southland teams too as well. And I think those are good for not only for, figuring out who are the best teams to be able to get into the playoffs, but also they're good for the fans to be able to, go and travel and see those games and make them be competitive games.
With the news that happened Sunday, did that lift practice yesterday? Did you get a sense there was a noticeable bounce when practice was going the last couple days?
Yeah, like I said, I think it's guys feel like, hey, they got their football lives extended, and now it's a huge opportunity to be able to go do it again here, and try to continue this. And I think anytime you're together, as long as this team's been together really since early January, putting in real work and really I think just the guys, the brotherhood that exists and how much those guys really felt like, hey man, I want to extend this as long as we can. There was definitely a sense of some rejuvenation, some energy going into the week, and that's continued through today too as well.
How much homework have you been doing on Tennessee Tech? We saw their quarterback at US Bank Stadium when he was playing for Eastern Washington. He can move. What stands out about Vesperis when you see him on tape?
Well, I think just that, the number of times that he's been able to get out of trouble, extend plays. He does things beyond the X's and O's, and I think that's always the the equalizer at times. In games like this, is you got to be able to make him have to earn everything that he gets. You got to do a good job of keeping him corralled, and I like to say you got to rush the quarterback as a company as soon as you get some guys that are out of their rush lanes and stuff like that. Like he'll just pull it down and run for a first down, and then they're on the field longer. In those situations, I think they're really talented at receiver. They've went and got a ton of transfers, over the last 2 years. They've really been active in the portal and have improved the talent of their roster. So, they've been the best team in that league, just looking at all their scores and stuff like that. They got challenged, last week against UT Martin and then a few weeks ago. But besides that, they've really, done a good job week in and week out of getting off to good starts and having, pretty substantial leads in the second half against most of their opponents. So, and I think defensively, the other thing that they play a ton of guys on defense. You look just as you're starting to chart numbers and things like that, with different guys and reps and stuff like that, they probably play 13 guys, maybe 14 guys up front. So they're rotating a lot of guys through there. Some guys who, I think have some pass rush ability. They do a good job of being able to be bendy, get up on the edges and get in and win some one-on-one. So, I think talent-wise, they're there as far as what you think a high-level playoff team would be at this level. And then, like I said before, I think the quarterback and the skill guys, including the tight end. The tight end's a transfer from Florida State who played some snaps at Florida State too as well. So their skill guys on offense create a problem, and I just think their depth and their overall. Just their talent on defense and the amount of guys that they can rotate, they've been able to stay fresh and really be able to play well, for long stretches.
I'll get you in trouble here. Is their quarterback similar to Brungard in any way, or no? Is it different?
I think he is, honestly. That's probably, what we've talked about with our guys. Just even stature wise, he's probably not as thick as Bo is. Like Bo's pretty strong, but this kid, as far as the shiftiness, as far as, just being sudden and making guys miss. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of plays right now, but, we just got done watching some third and medium things here, and the amount of times that he's been able to, dead in the pocket with two guys coming at him and being able to escape and get out of there and extend plays. I think, if there's 25 reps of third and medium, there's probably 7 of those plays where he's finding a way when protection breaks down to be able to extend the play and keep their team on the field. And I think at this time of year, that's so valuable is just the competitiveness at that position and being able to keep your offense on the field, I think, is really, really important. So we'll have to do a good job. We did a decent job against Bo at our place earlier in the year, and we'll definitely, try to do some things similar, with the QB here too as well. So I just think, he's very similar, Dom. I think that's a great comparison as far as what Bo did in our league.
Well, I'll say I thought you guys did the best job against Brungard all year. So can you replicate that? Do you have the personnel available? Because I know you're beat up to do that again on Saturday.
Yeah, I think so. I think really most of the guys. You look at Cole. Cole does a good job too as well. Of you got to make sure that you have guys in position that when he pulls it down, that you got to make sure that he has to earn it, and at least try to circle somebody, or at least try to direct him to a certain part of the field where you feel like, you have enough resources over there to be able to, if he does pull it down, to be able to run it. Guys can at least expect the ball to end up over there. I think DJ Williams is very similar too, as well, as far as him pulling it down and running it, in money down situations too as well. So, I think there's a few things that you can do to try to slow him down, but ultimately, it'll come down to some one-on-one matchups where you got to be able to find a way to be able to get him on the ground.
Let me ask you the roll your eyes question. How much do you need a fast start? Is that a thing, or just, hey, we just got to go play well?
Well, I think for us, the one good thing for us is just, we're battle tested as far as all the close games we played in. I feel like, our guys are prepared for, going on the road, playing a 4-quarter game. They've probably had more, blowouts throughout the season. So I think the more that we can just keep, pounding it, the more that we can do a good job of just making those guys have to, play a 4-quarter game. At the end of those games, like our guys, we got to win one of those games. Obviously, we got to do a good job of being able to close in those moments. But, there's something to be said, I feel like, for, level of competition week in and week out, and getting your team ready to be able to go on the road in a tough environment against a good team and then play 4 quarters. So, that's really the message that we've talked about, with our guys this week. It's lock the doors, it's close the windows, ignore the outside noise, and just, disappear in the work here for the next 5 days. And then let's show up and play our very, very best game of the year, on Saturday. And that's what we have to focus on. And I think our guys, they've established some toughness going through, the season and competing against, obviously, a lot of good football teams. Like now you've established some emotional toughness, that things go your way, don't go your way. It's so what, now what, move on to the next deal there, and then, hopefully we can establish some physical toughness too as well, that, we got to do a good job of being able to win the line of scrimmage. And I think they're pretty good up front, on both sides of the ball. So that'll be a huge factor in who wins the football game.
What can you tell me about Z-Bar's status and being able to use him on Saturday?
Well, he practiced today for the first time, where he actually practiced so that guys could hit him. And, obviously that's the art of coaching is, hey, you want him to feel, some physicality, but yet you don't want to, do something, even now you're trying to, the injury was, 4 weeks ago, and we knew, it was going to be 4 to 6. And obviously you're like, hey, we want to start at 4 and just really try to shoot for that, number one. And our doctors and PTs and trainers have done a great job of giving him an opportunity to be able to get to this point. But even then, like Tuesday to Saturday, that's 4 more days of healing, that we can try to give him. So he ran physical today. I think his, mentally he's in a good spot. He's just like, hey, I'm going to let it rip. And, you can't be playing passive, right? Especially a big back, right? Like he's got to feel like, hey, I can go run through somebody here at some point, and my collarbone's going to be okay. So I think he practiced today. Beemore, he broke his leg against Montana earlier this year, so he practiced today full. He's been going probably the last week and a half, but not going like we went inside today and those guys hit and banged and did all right. So there's some signs there that we can maybe get a few guys back here to be able to help us, guys that were injured early in the season that now have had some longer rehabs that'll be really, really close to being able to come back and help us.
What do you tell Jerry? You've coached in playoff games about what to expect. It just is. Regular season is one thing, rivalry games are one thing, playoffs different. What do you tell them about what to expect Saturday?
I don't think I think the thing with Jerry, and I think with all of our guys, really what we try to talk about is, hey, you go through a process here to get yourself ready to go. And we've always been about the process and not about the outcomes. Like, we don't need Jerry to go out there and put on a Superman cape in order for us to win. Obviously the ball's going to be in his hands. We need him to make great decisions, and there's going to be some opportunities for him to be able to lead our football team down the field. And we just got to, have him continue to do, what he's done. I think the one thing that, there's always going to be, ups and downs as a first-year quarterback. You're going to have games where, hey, there's just you might be processing a little bit slower, maybe not seeing it the way you thought you were going to see it in practice. But I really think that, he had a really, really fast start to the season. And then, we played some of the teams that were better on defense. And, people were asking, hey, is he, this or is he that? I think, hey, you're playing, the windows are tighter. The time that you have to throw the ball is less in some of those games. But he's really, I feel like, gone through those, kind of trials and tribulations and had some of, those I guess, just experiences that he's had now. And now I feel like, especially towards the end of the game, at South Dakota State, we were in a tough situation, down 8, had, I think, 86 yards to go, with 3.5 minutes. And he was at his best, right there to lead our team down, did it with his arm, did it with his feet, and then to be able to score and then get the 2-point conversion too as well. So I think, he feels like, a little bit like, hey, I'm back. I feel like I'm seeing it again really, really well. The internal clock of, hey, decision making and when do I pull it down and run? When do I wait for things to be able to open up? I think he's, that art of being a quarterback. I think he really feels like, he's gone through a lot of things now that have helped him and prepped him to be able to be successful here in the playoffs.
Last thing for you, Bud, and I really appreciate the time. On the outside, I know there was squawking Sunday. The Valley got 6 in. You're in it. Tell me about the league deserved to have all 6 in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think if other teams in the country, feel that way, that, hey, the Valley has too many teams in, I think it's obviously there's a simple recipe to be able to handle that, and that's the schedule, guys. And I don't think anybody in our league is not trying to play anybody else in those other leagues. You know what I mean? Like, I know there was a potential at one time to have Tennessee Tech go play Southern Illinois, and that fell through, and they ended up playing, I think, Cumberland or somebody like that, So I just think, at the end of the day, like, our league has won a lot of playoff games. You saw it a year ago. It was, the 2 Montana schools and the Dakota schools that were left at that time. And I just feel like, until, you can go on the road or at home and schedule those teams and, improve your strength of schedule, you're going to have to do that. It's like any other sport that, hey, if your league doesn't have a lot of the top, strength of schedule or the top teams in the country, then you got to go out and find those teams, in your non-conference to be able to boost your strength of schedule. So, I just think, I think there's a lot of respect for our league in the country. I think, rightfully so. There's a lot of resources that are put into football. It's important, in our state and in the upper Midwest here. And I think it'll continue to be that way here for a long time. So I think it's, just one of those deals where the teams and the schools that maybe feel this year that they should have had an opportunity. I think now, hopefully that leads to probably a little bit more aggressive scheduling and say, hey, we got to go play these guys, and show what we can do in the regular season if we want an opportunity at the playoffs. All
right, I'm going to save everybody any scheduling chatter because it's a holiday. It's Thanksgiving, but he's dead on about that. And we'll see what UND has in store against the Tennessee Tech team that, frankly, I don't know how well tested they are. They beat up in a bad league because we saw the Ohio Valley up close with Tennessee State and Southeast Missouri State when they faced North Dakota State, and they were not good this season. Tennessee Tech was the best. We'll see. This will be a heck of a win. We talked about it on the show on Wednesday with Tom Miller that to get this in his first year, man, you're way ahead of schedule of what the most ardent UND fan had to think when they hired Eric Schmidt last December. All right, we'll break. We'll get back on schedule here. We got NFL picks coming up here in just a little bit with my dad on our Thanksgiving Day spectacular. Rolls on Hot Mike on WDAY Extra. That's a cool-looking photo. We're back after this. All right, good stuff there with Eric Schmidt as we get caught up here. All right, it's a big NFL day. We come back. We got picks with my dad to get us ready for Thanksgiving Day and the rest of the NFL schedule. That's coming up on the other side of the break. Back on our Thanksgiving Day show right after this.
If that was me and you, if you'd have went with a Boston, you'd have been living in the garage. I had a Yankee hat on, of course, which I usually almost always do, but she says to me, if I were you, I'd take that hat off. And I looked at what look at it to begin with. I ain't taking my hat off. I know where I am. Yeah, right.
You believe anything that guy says? Because I don't.
He said he was going to marry J-Lo, too, remember? Come on. I finally told your mom. I said, there's no sense. Let's just put TVs in the room because I'm only going to wake them up anyway. So
that's how I got a television?
All righty. There we go. What better way to spend Thanksgiving? If I can't see him in person, we do it with our NFL picks here to wrap up our show. My dear old dad joins us from lovely upstate New York. Happy Thanksgiving, Pops. How are you?
Happy Thanksgiving to you. I'm doing really good.
All right. You got to give us I tried to tell the story off the top of the show. For Thanksgivings that I can remember, you always were out early. Did you ever have any success when you were out in the woods on Thanksgiving morning?
I've got a couple on Thanksgiving Day, but that's it. Yep. It's one of the biggest ones I ever shot was on Thanksgiving Day. So, oh, yeah.
I don't remember this. Was this was I around? Do I just don't block it out?
Oh, no, you were around.
Okay. All right. How
You're
big?
Too busy watching football.
Or getting ready to do so.
Yeah.
How about growing up? For you guys, did you guys eat early? Did you guys eat late in the day? What did you guys normally eat?
No, we usually ate about 1, 2 o'clock. That's what we had.
Yeah.
Big meal, if I remember correct.
Was it always turkey? What did you guys have?
We had turkey, we had ham, we had homemade macaroni, we had all kinds of. There was a little bit of everything.
So ham is making a charge up the leaderboard here. I think I'm more excited for the ham than I am for the turkey. I don't know.
Well, I just soon have ham over turkey.
Really?
I like turkey sandwiches.
Yeah.
But I'd take the ham over turkey.
So,
of course, I'd rather have the homemade macaroni every year. That don't happen no more.
So, for your plan for when you went out, when you were younger on Thanksgiving morning, so did you have a set time? Like, hey, I got to be back by now to get ready to get going, or what was the plan?
What do you mean, when I was young?
Yeah, no, I mean when you were going hunting, like when I was younger.
We only hunted for the morning. We were usually all done by 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then I used to love to come in and just smell it cooking. That was my favorite part. I had to smell that cooking, and then I was home with my joggers on and ready for football.
And then watch the Lions normally stink up the joint, right?
And they had the Lions or the Cowboys, one or the other. It's always that they were always on.
Would you be in favor of them changing that, or you like that, the fact that they play?
No,
over there?
I'd like to see him change it.
Oh.
Put some other teams in there. Again, I get sick of the Cowboys.
Well, they're not going to change Dallas.
Well, no, of course not.
We're not going to put the Steelers on. We're okay. They're on TV every week. We don't need to see them.
Well, that's be better viewers. I mean, come on.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, the Dallas-Kansas City game might be the most regular season viewers ever for a football game.
That should be a doozer.
I mean,
how many are on regular TV?
Oh, All of them are. It's Fox, CBS, and NBC. So it's this is the heavy hitters. No regular TV. No streaming for you on Thanksgiving. You're okay on that.
No scrambling to find.
No, you can find the games. Yes, they're catering. They're catering to you and your age bracket this weekend. All right.
It's about time. We're their loyal viewers. Our age bracket is their loyal.
I would say this: the NFL is the only one who's still. I mean, baseball now. Heck, baseball's gonna have games on Netflix next year. I know you're gonna be happy about that.
Yeah, right. I'm happy about that. All right. What is Netflix? I don't even know what it is.
It's another streaming site. So, on top of Peacock, on top of Paramount Plus, and throw on the pile. So,
what are they doing, man?
Hey, they're trying to get
money. They're throwing money at them. Is all it is.
And people will buy it because they're putting your Yankees on it.
I'm going back to an antenna. Whatever I get to see, I get to see.
Well, you get to watch these games this weekend. So I don't know how Steph did. Did you watch? Did you see how did she make out with her picks?
I didn't, but she said she did pretty good straight up. But with the spread,
it killed her, huh? All right.
And it always will. The spread always.
That's how Vegas makes its money, right? Yeah. That's how they stay alive. So
you got to stay with the straight up bets. That's all. That's
that's nearly as fun though, right?
Well, you don't make as much.
Right. That was my last point. Payout isn't as good.
Right. The payout isn't as good.
All right. Shall we rock and roll here?
It keeps you from throwing stuff at the TV, though, so. You know what I mean?
That's very true. If I was to set a betting line that Polisic would have left, I would have given that like plus 600. I thought he was done.
Is he going or
no? He's staying. He got a new contract, so he's sticking around. So
good. Yeah, good. They should give him a new one. He's done a great job.
Well, the amount of money though those other schools can pay, dwarfs wouldn't. That's why I'm wondering there might be something in the mix here to have him stick around.
Maybe another year or two though. You never know.
We'll see. All right, shall we do some picks?
So what do you got? 3 wins to Nashville, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll see.
Should be a cakewalk unless something happens.
Well, that's why they play the games, is what you'll tell me. So,
yep.
All right, let's lead her off here. We got the Lions are good, and the Packers are good. This is a heck of a game to start Thanksgiving. Right now, Detroit is a 3-point home favorite. This might be for first place here.
Yeah, but they don't seem to be the team they were last year.
They are not. Nope, they're not.
I'm going to go with the Packers.
Oh, he's got Green Bay +3 in that one. The Chiefs and the Cowboys, we mentioned it. Kansas City gets to play on all the holidays. It was Christmas last year. It's Thanksgiving. Next you know, it'll be Columbus Day or Labor Day, whatever. Kansas City is favored here, 3.5-point favorite over Dallas in this one.
And Dallas is home, right?
Of course they are.
Yeah, of course they are. Give me the Chiefs.
Got Kansas City.
See him slap Jerry around.
Well, they shouldn't have won the game last week, honestly. The Colts had them beaten, and now here they are. They have life, and they're gonna make the playoffs.
You got to put them down. If you don't put them down.
Man, oh man.
I love it.
Thursday night, I think you want both teams to lose. The Bengals and Joe Burrow will be back against the Ravens, who have won 5 in a row. Here comes Baltimore right on the Steelers, and they haven't even played Pittsburgh yet. Baltimore is a 7-point favorite, and Jamar Chase is back as well for Cincinnati.
Yeah, everybody knows the Ravens were going to be there. Just, you know what I mean? Give me the Ravens.
They went to 1-5 to 6-5 now.
I don't think Burrow's going to help them at all. So.
Well, Joe doesn't play defense, last I remember, for Cincinnati. So.
Well, he's got to score 50 to win,
and he can do that. We've seen him do that.
Yep.
Don't forget, there's a game Friday. There's a Black Friday game tomorrow. Bears-Eagles is a really good game. That's on Amazon exclusive. Philadelphia is a 7-point favorite after the Eagles blew a 3-touchdown lead to Dallas.
I love that. That was an awesome game. I watched that one. Give me the Bears just because I hate the Eagles.
Chicago +7 in that.
They're playing pretty good ball, really.
Yeah, I don't know how good they are, though.
They keep saying they haven't played anything.
They haven't. They played a 4th-place schedule. So
you got to play your schedule, right?
Yeah.
So,
all right, to the Sunday games now. Atlanta and the Jets. The New York Jets, who lost to the Ravens. There goes their great play. Guaranteed another losing season. They are only 2.5-point underdogs against Atlanta.
Cousins is playing, right?
Cousins is the quarterback for the Falcons, yes.
Give me Atlanta.
You never had this kind of faith in Kirk Cousins when he was a Viking.
Look who they're playing. Come on.
I'd take the Jets and the points in that one. 49ers are at the Browns. Yikes. Cleveland Shador starting again after they won their last game. San Francisco somehow won that game. That was an atrocity on Monday night. That was unwatchable football. San Francisco's a 4.5-point favorite on the road.
It was just a boring game.
It was not good. It was not good.
Give me the 49ers.
I think even Buck and Aikman were bored. They were talking about everything else at the end of that game on Monday night.
Who was the team that punted inside the 40?
I think the 49ers did, I thought.
No, it wasn't them.
No? Was it Carolina?
It was game Sunday.
Oh.
They're in the 40 and they punted to keep it from going over. Telling you.
They know what's going on, right?
Who punts inside the 40? Nobody.
Teams that don't have a quarterback that do
when
that.
When you're ahead.
Yeah.
I can't remember what team it was, but that one right there tells you. Come on.
The Jags are at the Titans. Jacksonville's a 6.5-point favorite on the road against the 1-win Titans.
The Jags just don't know what team they are, man.
No.
I'm going to take them, though.
All right, he's got Jacksonville here. -6.5 against the 1-win Titans, who are just bad. The Texans beat Buffalo on Thursday Night Football. They're at the Colts, and Indianapolis got to feel like they let that one get away against Kansas City last week. The Colts are a 4.5-point favorite at home against Houston.
And they did let it get away, but you know what? I'm going to go with the Texans again.
Oh, okay. That defense is good. Houston plays some pretty stout D.
Good. Man, they are excellent defense.
I don't know what's going on with the Bills. 4.5-point favorite there.
Playing this dude that sees ghosts again. He's going to be in trouble.
That's Sam Darnold, not Daniel Jones. Get your quarterbacks right. Your former Viking quarterbacks right.
Same thing.
The Saints are at the Dolphins. Who will watch this game? Miami is a 6-point favorite at home. The Saints have won twice. The Dolphins have won 4 times. It is a bad football game. Ugh.
Yeah, it is. So give me Miami.
Miami -6. The Cardinals are at Tampa. Your guy Baker got hurt. We don't know if he's going to play. Doesn't look good that he's probably going to miss this week's game.
He looks like he looked like Carson. The same thing happened to Carson.
Did not look good. The Bucks are only a 2.5-point favorite against Arizona.
I'll take the Bucks.
All right.
I still think they'll pull that.
Might be
out.
Teddy Bridgewater playing quarterback for Tampa in that one.
What about Arizona? He's letting the kid play Murray.
No, Murray's still out. So it's Jacoby Brissett is playing quarterback for Arizona right now. So
they give up on that dude.
They may at the end of the season. They may say,
Sounds
"See you
like
later."
They already have. Yeah. He's not hurt. He said he's ready to go.
The Rams might be the team to beat. The Rams are 9-2. They're at Carolina on Sunday. They're a 10.5-point road favorite. Are the Rams?
Carolina plays them tough.
Yep, Carolina plays good deep.
I'll go with the Rams.
Rams are the team. I think they're going to be representing the NFC in the Super Bowl.
It's going to be hard to beat.
Stafford is playing amazing right now. They're really good.
Yeah. Lights out for that dude.
Vikings at the Seahawks. No J.J. McCarthy, it looks like. The Seahawks are really good at home. Seattle's an 11.5-point favorite against the Vikes.
Give me the Seahawks.
Oh, boy. That's a lot of points. Really?
I think they put too much into this McCarthy to begin with.
Not looking good right now.
No.
All right, I know what you're going to pick here. Is A-Rod playing against your Bills?
No, they said he's not.
All right. So Buffalo's a 3.5-point favorite against the Steelers.
I'm still taking the Steelers.
Then you need Cincinnati to beat the Ravens to stay in first. You understand that, right?
Yeah, but that's going to be a crapshoot right there.
What's the matter with the Bills? What is, honestly, I can't figure it out. Allen looks lost. The whole team just looks, they should be 9-2 and they're 7-4.
If you think about it, the only thing they have is the Allen.
Yeah.
If he doesn't do everything Superman-like, then they don't win.
Yeah, and they did not win on Thursday night.
God, and they look terrible.
Yep.
He looked terrible. You know, and once he gets depressed or whatever it is, he's just done. I don't know. He ain't been the same since he got married.
There we go.
Well,
Pittsburgh plus 3.5. I'm not touching that one. No way. Raiders are at the Chargers. Vegas already canned its off. Chip Kelly's gone. Pete Carroll doesn't know what to do. The Chargers are an 8.5-point favorite at home against Vegas.
Yeah, give it a Chargers.
You love Harbaugh.
The Raiders are just terrible.
The Raiders are bad.
Like
Put Cam in. Let's go.
Yeah, I wish they would.
Sunday night. I can't believe this didn't get flexed out. Denver is at Washington. They might get Jaden Daniels back. Who knows? Denver is 9-2. They might be the best team in the AFC. They're a 6-point favorite on the road against Washington.
I'll take Denver.
Okay.
They're playing just as good as the Rams.
They are. And so is New England. They play Monday night against the New York Football Giants. Who scheduled this game on Monday Night Football? The Giants are 2-10. I don't need to see them in prime time.
I think they thought they were going to be better.
I guarantee they didn't think the Patriots would be 10-2, though. There's no way they thought that.
If you knew Vrabel, you knew they'd be a lot better than they were last year.
Holy cow, New England!
Give me New England.
New England minus 7.5 right now. They are humming.
I don't think they can finish it off, but I like to see them keep
going.
Going.
Right now they're the number 1 seed, so they'd be hosting all the games there.
Yeah, that helps.
Right now, and I know the playoffs don't start today, so I know you'll remind me of that. But right now, Buffalo would be the 7 seed right now. The Texans, the Steelers would be out. The Chiefs would be out in the AFC. The AFC would be the Patriots, Broncos, Colts, Ravens, Chargers, Jacksonville, and the Bills. What?
Crazy.
My goodness.
Crazy, or this is what the NFL wanted.
They definitely want that. All right, buddy boy. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a great day. I love you, and I will talk to you later, okay? Don't eat too much, okay?
I won't. You tell the whole family I said happy Thanksgiving.
I will, absolutely. I love you. I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Have a good one.
There he goes. My Pops. Thanksgiving Day picks here to wrap our show. We'll come back. We'll put a bow on things and get out of here. Hot Mike wraps right after this. All right, wrapping things up here on our Thanksgiving Day Spectacular. A lot of fun here today. Sam Getzinger will be back in this seat tomorrow. I'm going to take the long weekend off, be back on Monday, and we'll recap everything from the FCS playoffs for the opening round, get us ready for, we'll know who NDSU is going to play in the second round. The Vikings game with the Seahawks, we'll unpack all of that coming up on Monday's show. Just a quick thank you on this day to all of our tremendous viewers and listeners who have decided to spend part of your mornings with us. I'm humbled by it every day when I get a email or I get a tweet or somebody approaches me saying, hey, I love your show, I watch it, or we listen to your show every day, we don't want to miss it. I had somebody message me yesterday saying, hey, I can't get my Thanksgiving Day stuff done because I'm watching your show. That means the world to me, to our unbelievable crew who works tirelessly to make sure it looks as good as it does, sound as good as it does, and it does. It's a labor of love that we do it, and it means a lot. And a quick thanks as well to my family. This is not a rocket scientist, brain surgeon job. It's also not a digging ditches job, but it is one that the hours are not great. Yeah, I'm here on this show 9 to 11, but also I work a lot of weekends. I work a ton of nights, and a big thank you to my wife who keeps our ship going at home. all the time with the Jack Man, and I couldn't do it without her. I wouldn't want to do anything else without her. So a happy Thanksgiving to her and the Jack Man today. And a happy Thanksgiving to everybody watching, and hopefully you're able to enjoy it, a little bit of it, even if you got to work. All right, let's do some What to Watch before we get out of here. Is there a better TV day than Thanksgiving? I don't think so. We got a couple of NFL games we'll feature, of course. The Packers and Lions coming up here on Fox is the first game for a huge battle in the NFC North. Chiefs and Cowboys coming up later today, 3:30 on CBS. I mentioned earlier, College Hoops wants in on Thanksgiving. We got two biggies today. Duke and Arkansas are playing tonight in Chicago. That's right after the football game. They'll have hoops from Chicago with the Blue Devils and the Razorbacks. John Calipari, John Shire. That'll be fun. 7 o'clock on CBS. We got to go. Our thanks to Karrington Asp, to Kevin Feeney for stopping by, Eric Schmidt, of course, to my dad. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at inforum.com. Watch a full replay on WDAY+. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Have a great one. We'll see you back here tomorrow and next week here for the big show.